We're going Geekatron with this episode, and it's all about Riesling, my favorite variety in the world. When it comes to Riesling, Germany for me is the mecca. They're at the top, 24,000 hectares of Riesling planted. That's nearly half of all the Riesling planted around the world. I think the Austrians are fantastic. The Alsatians in France are great. Then Australia and America do great stuff too. But for me, Germany and Austria, they're at the top. I love Riesling so much. I like it dry. I like it sweet, I like it sparkling, I like it young, I like it aged. I am so dedicated to Riesling that in 2019 I lived in Germany for 2 months, visiting multiple producers a day. It was one of the best educational experiences of my wine career because I visited all the regions. The producers showed me canopy management, showing me a lot of different things because it was around July, August. I will treasure that experience for the rest of my life, and I got to drink a ton of great Rieslings. We're going to replicate that here today. We have 3 great Rieslings today, all at about the same price point, around 50 bucks. I have a German Riesling, an Austrian Riesling, and then also a ringer country. Not Australia, not France, not America. I just want to put it in there because I have it and I want to see how good it is, and I want to see if it throws me off a little bit. In general, German Rieslings tend to be more acidic, more laser-like, while the Rieslings in Austria tend to be a little bit more broad, a little higher in alcohol. Even though the Austrian Rieslings tend to be bigger in alcohol like those from Alsace, I feel like they have their slightly different style. We'll see how they show in this blind tasting. There's only about 2,000 hectares of Riesling plantings in Austria. That's about 5% of the country's plantings. The German labeling system can be really confusing, but once you nail it down, I actually did a video about how to read a German label, then you can dependably pick out a dry German Riesling. Austrians, however, if you're going to spend money in them, they're generally going to be dry. The German and the Austrian Rieslings are Erste Lage or Premier Cru. I always say you don't have to go for the Grosses Gewachs or the Grosse Lagen. Go for the Erste Lagen or maybe even the Village level, the Ortswein. I think you get tremendous value for money, but we're drinking great Rieslings. I want to treat myself, so these are Erste Lagen Rieslings. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go. Tasting some great Rieslings, tasting out of my Zalto Universal glass. I like the shape of this glass. I think it'll do great with Riesling. I have a link in the description box below. Once again, I knew what these wines were. I just Coravin them and had somebody mix them up for me. I love blind tasting Rieslings. The only thing that stinks is Riesling content doesn't do so well on the channel, but I'm just doing this for me. Also, the Riesling bottles are really tall, so it's kind of hard to blind taste them. I had to cover them with plastic cups, and one was slightly lower than the other one, so I had to put a filler bubble wrap between the bottle and the plastic cup so everything was level. It was hard work. This is all little stuff that goes into these blind tastings. Let's start out with wine 1. Also have to use white 3x5 cards because it's nat season, it's humid out, it's the summer. Let's get tasting. All right, here we go. Starting out with wine number 1. It is saline. To me, this almost smells Austrian. You have some of the greens, the snappy green pea flavor. The lemon comes out a little bit. I don't get the explosion. Usually Austrian Rieslings aren't as explosive as German Rieslings. High quality Gruner Veltliners and Rieslings from Austria can be confusing sometimes. I've definitely seen myself and others get them confused in blind tastings. Still smells very good. Saline, green apple, lemon. I don't get, it's not like over, it's very good, but sometimes German Rieslings, I expect them to be explosive. This is definitely richer. It's a hell of a wine. I think a lot of people generally tend to like, I think this is an Austrian Riesling, tend to like Austrian Rieslings better. They're usually a little softer. It doesn't have the biting acidity. They're usually a little rounder, a little creamier, a little silkier like those in Alsace. But still, there is an explosion of fruit, mineral notes. Still get the lemon. That's just really, really, really good wine. Whatever it is. Let's move on to 2. The wildcard country, the producer is great. I've just never tasted the Riesling before. This Austrian Riesling, I've tasted wines from the producer, but have not tasted this actual wine, this actual single vineyard. The German one, I have tasted different vintages of this, but this is the current release. So, you know, Riesling is so terroir driven, shows the year and the soils, the area off really well. Let's go to wine 2. I think that's why wine geeks love it. Different. Not, again, not super explosive. This starts off with mineral notes. Still get the lemon. I get like a seaweed component, almost like those Japanese seaweed you get to sushi places, which I absolutely love. The lemon comes out. It smells good. I'm trying to get the... This really does have that wet stone flavor. If you go out, like, you go out in a driveway, if you have a gravel driveway after the rain, you smell that. That's what this really smells like. Whoa! This has real electricity. It's racy on the palate. I love it. I think wine one felt a little creamier. I actually might prefer wine one just a tad more, but I like the aromas on two. Man, this is racy. I talk about how Grace Rieslings are adult lemonade, which this is. You have all the citrus tanginess on the back end. That's a hell of a wine. Let's go to 3. I'm really treating myself today. Man, I could go... I love Riesling. I love it. Whoa! This is different. This is way different. I don't even know. So far, I get green guava right away. Kiwi flavors, but not Sauvignon Blanc. It's not explosive like that. A little bit of lemon. It's so funny. In neither one of these 3 do I get the white flower type notes. Man, it smells really good. This has like a maybe a little bit of a cut grass type of flavor. Not like Sauvignon Blanc though. And I definitely smell the sea here. I really smell the sea. Wow. The acid here is sharp, man. Whoa. I don't know if I would call that this is Riesling in a blind tasting, although with the acidity, wine geeks sing the praises of Riesling all the time, but sometimes they're just too sour, too high in acid for a lot of people, a lot of like casual wine drinkers. But here you see, and you hear all the time that Riesling, hear sometimes that Riesling is a terroir-driven grape variety. Sometimes it's hard to see through that if you're only having one and the acid just blows you away. But here, I definitely think that you see that. These wines are really close, and these 3 are all so different. If you're watching this, you're a hardcore wine geek. If you want to hang out with me, other like-minded wine geeks, check out channel memberships in the 2nd tier, the Grand Reserve tier. I've organized a monthly live hangout tasting where you can come up on screen, hang out, share your wines. We can just talk shop. I've also launched a live video podcast. Members of the Grand Reserve tier can come up on screen and ask a question, call in like a live radio show. There's also perks for the lower tier as well. It also supports the work I do here, so thank you so much. This was a unique episode. I have one which I think is the wild card, and then the 2 I think are Austrian and German, and they're just so different in style, and they were so close. I think wine number 3 is the wild card, more Albarino-esque, and I say that knowing that the wild card has a touch of Albarino blended into it. So I still think it's an excellent wine. 92 plus points. I don't think I would call it a dead ringer for Riesling. But let's see here. Let me see here. Let's see. Okay, 92 plus points. This is the German Riesling. This is the Wittmann Westhofener Riesling Premier Cru Erstalag in 2022. This comes in at 49 bucks. Philip Wittmann is the owner. Wittmann is one of the premier producers in the Rheinhessen. I am so surprised. So first of all, a few tips for Riesling. If you're looking for Erstalag, you can look for this little 1G right here. That means it's a Premier Cru vineyard. I always push Erstalagen wines. I think they offer better value for money than the Grosses Gewachs, the Grand Crus, which sell quicker. I am completely shocked because on the palate, you know, some of these, and this is not a big Riesling, 12.5% alcohol. Some of these bigger Riesling sometimes, with global warming, it's really helped Germany. Germany traditionally was a cooler climate country, but as temperatures rise, it's almost like every year the Riesling's good, and some of the bigger Erstalagens or Grosses Gewachs can sometimes be difficult to tell if they're Riesling on the nose besides the acidity. Wittmann makes one of the most memorable dry Rieslings I've ever had in my life, the Moorstein Vineyard. That's a Grosses Gewachs, 49 bucks. I think that was excellent, but my goodness, I thought it was the wild card, and that's the power of blind tasting. We'll come down to the next. That is shocking to me, but that's what blind tasting is all about. That's why I wanted to do this episode. Wine 2 is the one that was real saline. I thought it was German. It had like this piercing acidity. I thought it was very, very, very good. I gave it 93 points. 93 points. I thought it was excellent. I thought it was German, but obviously I'm mixing things up here. This is not. This is the wild card. This is a Catalan Riesling. Catalunya from Spain. This is the Castell Ekam 2022. This comes in at $45. This is 85% Riesling, 15% Albarino. Some may say it cheated. But however, in Europe, if you want to call a wine by its variety, you can put up to 15% of another variety in it. So they technically could have just called this a Riesling and not reported that this has Albarino in it. Castell de Encus, high elevation vineyards. I know that these, I think they're grown up to, yeah, 4,100 feet. I think 1,400 meters in elevation. Near Barcelona, this is a single vineyard wine. I thought this was outstanding. It's so funny, I thought this had the Albarino in it. 92 plus, 93. So again, super close. You're not going to go wrong with either one. Spain, Catalunya, not a place that I associate with Riesling, but good job, Castell de Encus. That's very good. Okay, the top wine. At least I got one right. I thought it was Austrian because of the bigger body. I thought it was absolutely stellar. I missed some of the apple blossom of the white flower flavor, but on the palate, the tension was just outstanding. 94 points. 94 points. Austrian. One of the premier producers of Gruner Veltliner. This is the Schloss Gobelsberg Ried Geisberg Premier Cru. So Erstelagen from the Campdor region. 2021. This comes in at $59. So the most expensive in the bunch. I gave it 94 points. Schloss Gobelsberg makes excellent wines. Their portfolio is a little confusing because you see the labels are the same. They make kind of basic wines. They make a bunch of single vineyard wines, which this is. I thought it was outstanding. Austria is definitely more than just Gruner Veltliner. So wowzers. In this little showdown, Austria takes the cake. So tell me, are you a Riesling nut just like me? Have you tasted any of these wines, any of these producers? I'd love to hear. Drop it in the comments below.